Well, hey, Ignite Church. My name is Devin Trulin. I'm the youth pastor at Ignite Church. Thank you guys for tuning into this devotion and just spending some time in God's Word with me. I'll be in Ephesians 4, just reading one verse, verse 29. And so you can turn there. You can listen along with me. It says, this is Paul speaking. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is useful for building up others according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. We've recently finished a series called Toxic at Radiate. Radiate is our high school and middle school ministry here at Ignite Church that I'm tasked with pastoring. And we just focus on toxic words and what that is. And I'm so thankful to be part of a church that I can be a pastor of this next generation, because I see more and more that there's this movement of young people, this movement of young adults to kind of move away from this idea that words have weight, and that we're to speak words that are righteous and holy and uplifting, and that more and more young Christians are just okay with flippantly saying words that tear other people down, or even using words that are profane and are not good words, that are curse words in our culture. And so I just feel like the Bible has something to say about that and to speak against that. And I just see that. And so I'm so thankful that I'm able to speak to young people about this, because so often I see students, we'll talk about things like words, and they'll come up to me and they'll ask, like, well, where's the line? Like, where's the line as it relates to words? What can I say? What can I not say? As they're trying to navigate their faith in this. And so often when they ask these questions, it's almost like, how close to the line can I get? Like, what cuss words can I say that aren't, bad cuss words that God would get mad at? What are some things that I can say that are okay for a Christian to say? And one student in particular comes to mind, and he struggles with his words. And I remember that when we would hang out, when we would do small group, and things would come out of his mouth that were not good things to come out of his mouth, I would recite Ephesians 4:29 to him. And I would say, don't let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but only what is useful for building up others according to their needs. And I got so annoying to him, because I would just keep reciting that over and over and over again to him until eventually he just got it. And one day I kind of asked him, like, hey, what does Ephesians 4:29 said? And he was able to rattle it back off to me. And so it's such a good verse, such a verse that we can live by, and that we can kind of filter our words through and just recognize, am I speaking wholesome words that are building others up, or am I tearing them down? Listen, the bottom line is that words have weight. That's one of the key things I wanted to get across to Radiate, is that words, they have weight. And Proverbs 18:21 teaches us that, where the person that writes this says, the tongue has the power of life and of death. That the tongue, our words, have power of life and of death. And so if we can just understand that in our personal experience, some of the best decisions that we've ever made in life, some of the best things that we've ever believed about ourselves, have come from the words of someone that believed in us, as someone that was willing to speak life into us. But then on the flip side of that, some of the worst experiences we've had, some of the worst things maybe that we've even believed about ourselves, have come from the words of someone that was tearing us down with their words, that was speaking death. And so I want to propose this radical thought to you as it relates to our words in this verse, is that there are no neutral words. There are no neutral words. There are good words and there are bad words. They're speaking life and they're speaking death, and there's no in between. And I know that sounds so radical. It's like, how can a coffee conversation with someone, just talking about our days, how can that be speaking life? Well, it's the fact that you care about their day and you care about how they're doing, that speaks life in and of itself. Or then you start to think like, well, how can a joke is so harmless, how can that joke hurt them? How can that joke speak death? And the fact is that you don't know what your jokes do. You don't know what the words that you say that you think are funny and that you think that are innocent, you don't know the impact that may have on other people's life. We can either speak life or we can speak death. And so the challenge and the question that I want you to wrestle with in the midst of this devotion, in the midst of this verse, is, if we were to write down all of your words from the past week, from the past month, from the past year, what would they say about the way that you speak? What would they say about the way that you speak? Would they say that you're someone that speaks life, or would they say that you are someone that speaks death to others? And I don't want to sit here in some higher than thou moment, because I recognize I have a long way to go in my words too. Like, I constantly have to filter through Ephesians 4:29, and is what I'm saying wholesome? Is this going to build someone up? Because if it's not going to build someone up, then it's truly just speaking death. And so it's something that I constantly need grace with. But the challenge for this verse is that words have weight. Words have weight, so let's leverage them. Let's leverage them for the sake of the gospel. Let's leverage our words if they have power for the sake of the kingdom, for the sake of Jesus Christ. And so above all else, I want to leave you with this thought. Everywhere we go, we're representing Jesus. Like the minute that we wake up to the minute that our head hits the pillow, we're not only representing ourselves or our jobs or our kids or our families, most importantly, we're representing Jesus. And this idea that, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. And if Jesus is in our hearts, then our words should reflect Jesus in them. And so when we go out and people are listening to us, everyone is always watching. And so let's speak words that point others to Jesus instead of take them away from Jesus. So that's just a challenge that I want to leave you guys with. And, we have a long ways to go in our words, but words are so important. Words have weight. The tongue has the power of life and of death. So let us not have any unwholesome talk come out of our mouths. Love you guys. Can't wait to see you guys soon.